And we are back for the second stream of today. We've got all the equipment working to the very best of my ability. The audio is not fantastic, let alone the video. A camera will be bought shortly where I can actually directly focus it on my work and read my laptop far more efficiently in comments and whatnot. My first example, which is extremely awkward, will remain on the channel. The second one I'll try to stream for an hour or so, uninterrupted and without messing with any equipment. Anywho, I am working on a resin anime figure from E2046. It is this character. I don't remember the name or the anime. It's a girl in samurai armor who jousts and does other significant, interesting things. Comes with the quality card and these lovely instructions. It is a recast, but the quality is extremely high from what was seen in the previous video, as well as a lot of things that went down. So E2046 resin is usually quite soft to the touch, very easy to carve, cut, scratch. The detail is also quite soft. You won't find it like other more brittle, harder resins that may have a finer point. Soft resin is excellent for figures, especially in capturing detail such as bodily parts, faces, hair, whatnot. Armor and mechanical details are not so good, though from the few Gundams and whatnot I've had, they're quite nice, though, you know, they won't stand up to the latest from Volks or B Club or G Systems or anything like that, but you do pay what you get for, and you get quite a significantly nice product, cheap to start out for the first time before you get in any legitimate resin. The best thing about the E2046 website is I'll lift the camera a bit so the work that I'm doing can be seen. There we go. The models you do get from E2046, or when you look at a model, they have a breakdown of all the parts, the instructions, everything on the website when it does become available as stock. That can give you a decision how much masking you're doing, how much assembly, seam lines, as well as color separation. And from those alone, when you pre-plan in your head if you're willing to attempt that model or not, that if it's going to be easy. Masking is generally difficult, especially for flesh, and so is removing of seam lines if you want color separation or not. So you can generally judge by your own eyes, can you attempt that or not. Sometimes there is an advantage to many parts to not a lot of parts. A resin kit with very few parts generally has a lot of masking or hand painting or something, so you got a lot of work in painting. Assembly has a little work in putty and glue and pinning and other things, but there's less work in painting, so you need to look at where your strong or weak suits are. But there are a few figures that are quite plain, has decals for eyes and whatnot, and you get the best of both worlds to attempt. And generally in the comment section they'll tell you, oh, it's a good beginner figure or not. This figure I don't think is not too bad. I would actually allow a beginner to attempt it. It's a bit expensive, but the fit is quite good. E2046 representative I was talking about said, you know, this is a fairly advanced figure, mostly due to the parts count. But I think it's a mistake to just associate difficulty with parts counts, like a lot of your Gundam or Bandai kits. They say Perfect Grade has a high parts count. It is true, to remove all the nubs and assemble, it takes a lot of discipline to sit down and crack over it. But it's not necessarily hard. There's not really much in the way of seam line filling or modification or fitting or fault removing or anything, because all it is just cut off the gates, clean up, snap together. You get a done, finished model with decent color separation and with very large pieces. Generally, the larger models are quite easy to build, harder to paint, because that's when you're trying to get in realistic weathering or decal work or whatnot, more surface, more to notice. So painting a larger kit can be tricky when you're thinking of realism and whatnot. So we've waffled about that enough. Question is, what am I doing? Now, with the process of resin, opening it, pulling it apart and counting the bits and sorting it out can take a while, but the most important thing is the process of resin. When it comes out of the mold, there is some sort of grease or oil or lubricant used to make sure that the resin does not stick to the latex molds. And generally, to keep costs down, the companies will not clean it off. So when you get a resin model kit and you paint it directly, and I've only ever heard of this happening once, and I've learned it from someone in Australia recently. He just spray painted paint directly onto resin without washing, and the paint literally just slid off and pulled and built up in the bottom. And in my first stream, I was painting a spaceship, and I'll actually show it off now. This is a Gundam B Club warship, and I'll delicately flip it. It is in a pool of resin to strip all of the primer. Fuck. I have just spilt trying to focus on the stream, I've kind of spilt bleach on my mat. Now luckily it's a gel, so it's very, very, very slow moving, but we'll clean it up. What's happened was I did a really rough, quick clean of this spaceship, and dried it, assembled it, puttied it, and thought I could prime it at the end of the day at a public club meeting. What happened was, even though most of the release agent was removed, there was some trace of it, and it did an effect called a fish eye, where these little spots would appear in the paintwork of the raw material. And this is because what's happened is, because there is grease or something in there that does not allow paint to adhere to it, it's just moved from that circle bit, and the primer won't stick. That means paint won't stick. That means finish won't stick, and you will not get a clean, easy finish. This is not a problem. Sometimes with priming, we prime a surface to look for faults, seam lines, mistakes, whatever, to sand back and fix. When I primed, and I saw a series of these fish eyes, which you'll see in the video of this ship. I can't show now because I spilled fucking bleach everywhere. Fuck. It's interesting what the bleach has done to my self-healing mat. It's made all the previous cuts just appear and pop, and it'll probably take a few days for it to bubble off and reseal itself, or maybe it's permanently fucked. I'm not sure. Going back to my original story, because paint can't stick on it, we put primer, and primer looks for mistakes, seam lines, imperfections, whatever they'll show in the paintwork. So we can put putty, we can sand, we can do whatever repairment work. What I've considered when I saw those fish eyes is that I've made a mistake, there's an error, it's going to cause a mistake. So I'm stripping the primer off, and I'm hoping that the release agent will also clean off. I will sand that area, and then I'm going to leave and wash my hands first, and this sponge, and then I'll keep talking. So please excuse me for 2 minutes. I am back. Unfortunately, bleach is a detergent. When activated by water, it's going to bubble up as a fucking nightmare. And my hands are all greasy and my container's all fucking foamy, and I don't know what part I was working on last, but there's more bleach in my tub, so that's going to be good. Being a detergent, it's good for cleaning resin. So the resin needs to be clean. If the resin's not clean, the paint won't stick to the resin. If the paint won't stick to the resin, your kit's going to look like shit, thus you need to clean the resin. Fucking full stop. And this is why you'll see people sanding it, scrubbing it, dunk it in water. The greaser works. A lot of people use the greaser. That doesn't damage resin. Bleach will not damage resin. Detergent, Dettol won't damage resin. Purple powder or purple power, whatever the fuck you guys call it in the United States. That's very popular over there, so that's a safe bet. That's going to cost extra money and whatnot. Truth be told, I just go under the sink, whatever garbage I fucking find I'll use, and when it runs out because of domestic purposes, it'll be bought. I'm not going to buy something special because it's for modeling when I can just use what is already around the house. And that way you get to save money for other shit such as paints, consumables, model kits, sick tools, whatever other fucking garbage. Chat is still empty as fuck, but that is okay because we are only practicing. This is the beta of our stream. I am learning. I am learning if my equipment works. I am learning if I'm able to talk long enough, if I'm able to entertain, if I sound interesting, if I can pull stories out of my rectile, holus, degeneris, where, you know, shit comes out and stuff. That was fucking silly, but I assume it's hilarious. I do like to talk shit and talk to people and whatnot. Talk in the other stream that the relationship between the Mokana Man, which is my main account, I'm generally clean, nice, whatnot on there because it is for all audiences. Yeah, kids, conservatives, people that, you know, I don't exactly connect or otherwise make friends or politically identify or whatnot. But I would like the streams to be live, informative, but entertaining, though, on an adult level. Now, you can imagine, you know, playing with resin. It's a carcinogen. Bleach, you drink that, you fucking die. All that sort of shit. It's definitely not kids-friendly. So I assume a couple of curse words and other things will not go on the wayside. And generally, I will be doing these when either kids should be in fucking school, which they're not right now, or when they should be in bed. But, you know, the internet's the internet and whatnot. I also explained in the last video a schedule, a profile. Things will be put together. It's going to take a while to do it. I'd like to do this streaming thing on the regular. The problem with modeling is I get distracted too easily and I get lost in thought and just fuck around and pat the cat and I go on some sort of strange fucking tangent. Here at least I can focus on what I'm doing, and even if I'm thinking about a project, planning or whatnot, I could talk it through. Now sometimes if I get in deep enough thought, I might potentially ignore the chat, but I'm hoping what I'm spitting out might be interesting enough that people can just follow and, you know, chat about their own thing and answer each other's questions and whatnot, and I jump in. But generally, like the YouTube channel, if someone phrases something like a question in an effort of learning and improving themselves, I'd like that to take priority. I'd like to help them. If there is enough people in the chat, I would like you guys to help each other as well, and just do it as a very informative community of just helping each other. And I want to interact enough with the chat because there might be information. The amount of times in the comment that they say you're wrong, this is the case, or here's some information you won't know, or this is what I do. And I want to fucking learn from you guys live. I could be doing something. You can go, yeah, that's cool, but here's a more sufficient or efficient method. And I can go, cool, we're on camera. I'm here. You're here. Let me do it live. See what happens. And that could be as cool. Fuck. So still scrubbing. I've got a very soft sponge. I tried a serrated sharper sponge. That didn't do too well on the sharp detail and sharp corners, and it couldn't scrub everything. So with this softer benchtop sponge, I'm getting into all sorts of contours and just scrubbing and rubbing, and I'm hoping that it's removing the grease. I'm hoping the detergents and the bleach is eating away it. The soaking of it just makes it so it's just so diluted it's mixed with the water as well. It will be rinsed off again in water, dried down, cleaned again, and then we'll start removing nubs, we'll start sanding and whatnot. And just to be on the safe side, because normally with large flat surface detail and simple kits, I can just, sand the fuck out of it, and that removes, surface layer of resin, shit detail, shit surface, as well as whatever grease that may be there. Being as detailed as it is, I don't want to lose any detail, so sanding is not an option. I will buff it up with 1000 grit sandpaper. That may or may not remove anything that's there. But a second wash after pinning and putty and everything's been said and done could be worthwhile. So when it's hit with primer, we don't get any fisheye, we don't get any paint sliding off it or anything, and it's just all fucking, it's good. It sticks out for Haranabe. And fucking shit thing about bleach is it's everywhere. I'm rubbing on my onesie, I might get white stains everywhere. It's cold as fuck. It should be spring. Like, it's the first day of spring. Yesterday and the day before was nice and warm. But being spring, it's fucking cold. And so I had to rug up a bit. Being laundry day, you guys heard the washing machine end in the previous stream. A lot of my clothes, undies, socks, everything's in there, so I've got very, very little to show for it. So I think the interesting thing is keeping these streams long enough, no airtime when there's no talking. I might get into some private stuff. So this could be very, very interesting for you guys. There could be stuff that I was never willing to talk about in videos could come out here, but generally the audiences will be a lot smaller. The videos will be very long, and it'll be the sort of thing that people may not like to dig through, and shit could be repeated and whatnot, but I'm a fairly sociable guy. I like to entertain, like to talk shit, and I think it is quite possible to keep a crowd entertained for long enough. So we will find out. This tub is almost completely full of resin, and there's still a shit ton of resin on the side. So there is a possibility, and I'm a top dude. I prepared one earlier. Another bleachy detergent, fucking spray and white bowl of mixture of detergent goodness to strip this fucking grease. And honestly, and I've said this before, I thought it would be really interesting and exciting to work on resin on camera to entice a crowd. Though it's just a lot of cleaning. It might be quite boring, so I'm going to have to be the entertaining source of revenue. And who knows, this channel might fucking bomb, it might die, I might never get viewers, and it might just, it's something that I may never have intended to do. So this might be archived, there might be 3 videos and go, this is the Mokana Man's attempt at streaming, it sucked salty balls, never doing it again, and you just get a nice little insight of something that could have been, but will never happen. I might have to get some warm water because this thing is as bent as fucking shit. While getting lost in conversation and stuff, I need to focus on the camera too, so I can make sure that shit is within frame shot. What I want to do is, because I'm just using whatever the fuck I have laying around, I want to get a decent webcam. I'm going to hook it on a lamp above my work area. Just make sure my body is hanging over the green cutting mat, and just film that and just look at the laptop and make sure it's all within frame. Look at the chat, talk to people, and go, hey, cunts, what's going on? Shit like that. It'd be a lot easier. A little money, a little time. Though I could have realised I've got no hardware specs whatsoever to do streaming, so that could have been a waste of money. The laptop was overheating, but it was more of a mechanical fault, not a hardware software fault. that has been eliminated. This thing can go. My voice does sound like absolute fucking shit from the post recordings I listen to, though I don't believe there's much in the way of lagging and shit like that. We're going at a very low bit rate because just the hardware I'm dealing with. I got very old tech gear. It's not that much purpose of upgrading if I'm not into gaming or high uploads or watching, fucking Netflix at high def or whatever. Um, Not that I've a TV or a computer to support that. It's not because I'm poor. It's because I don't give a fuck. Instead of doing that sort of shit, playing video games, watching movies, whatever, I'd much rather be in here and just fucking model, chill out, build something. And it's not because of anything of, YouTube money or any of that sort of shit. It's purely because it's just enjoyable. It sets my mind at ease. It gets you over the whole stressful day and whatnot. Just manually thinking of a project, manually working your hands and mouth and body in gear to create something. Then once something's created and you go online, the ego aspect kicks in. It's, hey, look at me, I'm a fucktard, I made something, look at my pretty drawing on the fucking refrigerator, 9-year-old syndrome. Except it's adults doing it with stuff that's just a tad more complicated. Show off your wares, egomaniac. Everyone who's a modeler is an egomaniac. Everyone who's a modeler that shares their shit on social media or talk about it on YouTube or Twitch or whatever is an even bigger egomaniac. If they say they're not, they're full of shit. Fuck them, they are. I don't give a fuck. I am. I'll admit that right off the fucking get-go. And it's pie, man. It's all good. It's all choice. Choice. So I think I made a mistake of making it more of an adult themed stream because you kind of need a Twitch account to watch me, and people that just can't be fucked might not be obliged to do so. AVG wants to reset my fucking computer, and I've got bleach and fucking water all over my hands. Fuck you, AVG. Let me stream in peace, you fucking cunt. Please still protect my computer. Probably shouldn't have said that, some cunt in the wings like, oh, I'm going to send this cunt some viruses. I'm going to DDoS him or whatever and fuck his shit up. I am not famous nor popular enough for that to happen yet, so happy goddamn days. To tell the truth, I'm not even expecting much. I'm just hoping to just have a few cool guys around, some guys fucking around in the chat, swing some shit back. I'm not after making any money or anything big off this. It just sounded like a lot of fun to do, so it was a bandwagon well worth jumping on. Man, this thing's just got some fucking rad pieces. It's gonna be so much fun when it's done. Not gonna do like heavy shading or anything. Like the flesh will be shaded, the hair will be shaded, the rest are fairly flat colors, but they're gonna be like super glossy, maybe a bit of polishing. The base is pretty cool. That's gonna be a bit of freehand airbrushing. But yeah, we will see how we go. Still, we are cleaning. A lot of time hasn't passed. I'm probably going to leave the camera again to piss and to wash my hands again. Maybe get a bigger, clean container of fresh water to rinse my bleach bits. So I shall be back in a very short period of time. I hope no one comes realizing nothing fucked up. Hello, cat. Twitch, don't ban me. It's an active feed. It's not unattended. Whatever. Chat is still silent as a fucking crypt. This is a long journey. I am very excited. I'm having an established audience for a long time on YouTube. You post a video, you know there's going to be a certain reaction. Doing something that's completely new and not yet inviting my audience and just starting from scratch is just a very, very fun process. I'm almost inclined to keep it low key for a little longer until I'm very polished and just open it for everyone. I did put a small shout out on Facebook going, hey, you know, I'm trying this. But, yeah, not a lot of expectations, just a lot of exploring and fun, a new frontier. Now, it's not a new frontier for modeling. There are quite a few Gundam modeler streamers I've been watching and researching for a couple of weeks. And generally, it's just a social outlook of their life while they snap kits. Mine, as usual, is going to be a lot more niche. It'll be about the process of scale modelling. With the whole thing of World of Tanks and whatnot being popular, there's a few people building tanks, talking about Girls of Panzer, talking about World of Tanks, talking about, you know, historical aspects of World War II and tanks. Oh, you bet we're definitely jumping on that bandwagon. We'll be doing some tanks. You know we'll be doing some 70-second tanks, Girls and Panzering them up like fucking crazy. But after doing 3D printed and styrene for the whole year, I just got a resin itch and I need to scratch that resin itch really, really, really hard. And that's what we are doing right now. And it's a lot of fun. It's tedious. Resin is very, very tedious. But it's just rewarding when you're cutting and sanding into the material and whatnot and things are just coming together. It's just interesting. But when you look at scale modeling, the styrene version of it, removing nubs, sanding seams is tedious. And realistically, there's probably more tedious work in that than there is in resin because, you know, cleaning, it's nothing too serious. You clean your airbrush, you clean all sorts of things. Which is actually interesting. I wonder if Twitch would allow tutorials in maintenance of gear for creating things. Like if I sat there and cleaned my airbrush and did lines and said, look, you know, this is what you need to do to this is what you need to do to produce better work or whatever. Well, Twitch approve of that. So I read the rules and they said things like assembling office furniture and all that stuff isn't too crash hot, but you know they allow things like cooking and singing and telling jokes and stuff. It's very wide open, so maybe if I'm telling jokes while cleaning an airbrush, it could be a comedy stream, not a tutorial stream. Cheat the system. Very, very, very interesting. Audio levels are still good. I'm not seeing anything of these streams stopping. I might stop and just check if the stream is okay. Quickly throw my hands down, open the tablets and have a bit of a listen. Though, unlike trying to do the tech stuff last time and just being silent and silly, this time I shall just keep talking and keep raving about the modelling process. So resin. Resin is something I'm still not fully completely experienced with. I've only built half a dozen of resin kits in the past, and we are live, 0 viewers, 0 views. I've only built a few resin kits in the past. The first couple I made a mistake, reassembled, washed the paint off, put the paint back on, and it came out quite nice. Oh, sexy, sexy, sexy. So the stream is definitely working. Awesome. No viewers, though we can fix that by using these stream videos to market myself. I understand the more hours that you do this, the more chances you have of picking people up. And you really need to, you know, from what I've read, you need to stream like 6, 8, 10 hours a day to, you know, build an audience. That is absolutely ridiculous. Not as one to play by the rules. I don't think I will do that, but maybe that's building an audience fast. I'm just hoping to be niche and different enough to do that. In that regards, man, you gotta love that. These are the best hands I've ever seen on a resin kit in my life. Gauntlets, Gothic medieval German gauntlets on a fucking Japanese samurai figure. The historical accuraciness is just it's cringy to the point where calling it a lap figure is just highly appropriate. It is very cool. There's another few things that I could probably talk while doing these streams. History, fascination with armor, costumes, weapons, swords, experiences, martial arts, fights that I've gotten into, and some of the LARP and fighting and tournaments and kendo days and shit. It might be interesting to you guys, and if there's something that's called out, man, I'll definitely play along. I'll definitely play along. Nothing too wrong with that. And I might upload these streams not on the Mokana Man. The Mokana Man's a bit elitey. I like to keep that to be very easy for people to follow. I don't want to necessarily just put up whatever rambly shit that might be a bit rude or whatever. PHD Manchild, a really good video. Can pick up just above 100 views. That might be a good place to go. Like, hey man, Twitch, if this stream is working, which this is probably the stream I'll upload. The first one was just way too many awkward scenarios. This one is definitely the one to thrust myself out there. Dick out, balls deep, knobs straight down the internet hole. That is a fucking live stream. Unleash my sexuality to the world out there that is all modeling. And fucking blah, blah, blah. And I'm really reluctant to just keep going back to the project, and it's like, back to the project, we're still cleaning, but that's exactly what it is. I'm running low on parts. I'll quickly assemble them, and I'll have to leave quite shortly to grab fresh water. That's all that's left. Hair tangling's really cool. Like, I've only done a couple of resin figures, and I own about a dozen or so, but these high quality ones are just really nice. When I requested, because I'm doing a sponsorship deal with E2046, when I requested for this figure, when I was shown about 3 or 4 figures, which one I would much prefer to buy, I chose this one. They said it was a very, very nice one. It was the most expensive from the lot, but it's just what interested me the most. And just looking at it now really close in person, having it in hand and started working from just a picture on E2046, there's just more surprises that are pleasant. There might potentially come across a time when there's unpleasant surprises of things that you have to work around, but they're just the challenges you have to get around to getting it to a finished project. Nothing that is too bothersome, unless for those whiny fuckwits on Facebook and forums and whatnot, you gotta hate those people. They just hammer on Bandai, lazy molding, lazy engineering, lazy this, lazy that. I want my kits to be easier, bigger, better, cheaper, more colourful, more perfect grades, more master grades. Your marketing's all wrong. You're releasing the wrong models. Blah blah blah. How does a few fuckwits on a Facebook group that's in their own world of what they like, surrounded by friends that like similar shit, in a group that probably has no more than 10,000 members, or a network of group that would not span any more than 100,000 people, and see posts and other models that people make, and they're just stuck in that small, tiny bubble of the internet, and go, we know what the industry wants, and goes to a multinational company that produces literally millions of model kits a year to market and sell, and say, you don't know your own marketing. And you have this ridiculous premise that Bandai is like the early 2000s and 90s, where they're only manufacturing stuff just for Japanese markets. It's just incredibly infuriating that people want a company to remain what it used to be like in the past and not go in the future, yet have futuristic technology It's just very ignorant that there's a reason why a company would spend millions of dollars hiring boards of people, doing commercials, doing studies, um, talking to people, learning what the views are, sales are, whatnot of stuff that they release, and then some cunt's going to turn around and go, as one who's built 50 model kits and as a part of a group of 10,000 members, I know what you should be marketing to, not you. Fucking idiots! You are way full of yourself. You got no idea. I've got no idea what the fuck Bandai is thinking. I've talked to I've got to meet people from Bandai. I don't know what they're fucking up to. Though I know some of their concepts for marketing are pretty out there, very, very grassroots, and that's the only reason why I'm involved in some tiny, tiny, ridiculous, little, itty bitty, insignificant sample group. And then people think they know what the grand scheme should be. I mean, we get free anime via YouTube. We get the Caravan program where kits are given away at cons for people to have a try. The campaign card thing, where when you buy a certain amount of kits, you get a campaign card, you put numbers in, you get these very generous prizes. It's not a prize pool that's in total, but each prize pool is dedicated to each Gunpla Builders World Cup country that the cards are valid in. It's all insane, the amount that the community that Bandai gives back is very, very worthwhile. And normally, I don't really give much two fucks about brand loyalty, but when I'm seeing that much effort in expanding the hobby, expanding the community, getting people to build, come together and whatnot, even if it is for the sale of products and whatnot, it's something I do have to, stand behind. And standing behind it does have its rewards. And it's something I'll stick on as long as those terms still stand in that manner. And as well as I'm having fun and it fits in my lifestyle. So, if someone turns around and let's say an opposite company, Games Workshop, where, models have steadily become more expensive, cheaper, nastier, we've lost all the metal figures and all that, and competitions disallow other paints, parts, whatnot, and they change the rules where you literally have to buy a new army every 2-3 years, books and everything, and older stuff just doesn't count no more. That just rubs you up the wrong way, and you can see why Games Workshop is downgrading. They're losing loyalty from their clientele base, and since there's so many other wargaming companies and systems and games and entertainment out there, spreading to video games is probably the right thing to do. Just, maximize profit on the IP that are, Space Marines and books and movies and video games, not so much on the models, because they just completely fuck that up. Video games, you can't fuck up that much because you release a title, it goes on a console, easy going. Now, I am aware, though I don't own modern consoles and whatever, that you can buy a game and then to get like bonuses to make the game more fun, enjoyable, or easier, you can buy stuff in game to have fancy weapons, characters, tits out and whatever. But that's a different thing. That's way beyond me. That's something I just don't understand. I am a bit of a prude and an old man when it comes to that sort of bullshit. So this hair, man, is just so fine. There's like tiny little strands going everywhere. I'm really, really paranoid of snapping anything, and it might happen in the future. I'm just lightly wiping in every which what direction in hoping that I am digging at that mold release and whatnot. This hair might need to be, flushed up in times, and there's fucking water everywhere, and there's bleach everywhere, and everything smells like fucking cum, and Jesus fucking Christ. Rage outs will occur. Don't worry. But unlike some people play video games, it's a horror game, and aliens going around the corner, and then they have like a hot shot horror screen thing. Like, I'm sort of a bit envious of people that do the Twitch video game thing, because you react to the chat and whatnot, but if there's nothing to react, when you're talking to a blank chat room and you're slowly building, you can react directly off the game, or talk to the game, or talk in person, or a character, or something. Just reacting off my own intimate project, my own imagination, and talking in an empty room. That brings back fears of my early days in YouTube when I was talking in an empty room to a camera. That's quite nerve-wracking. Now there is experience, and it's not as scary as it once was years and years ago. But I'm still talking to myself, and it it is a bit frustrating. I am drawing blanks for microseconds, but it's definitely working. Doing it for like 4, 6, 8, 10 hours straight does seem like a challenge, but I think I'll take baby steps. 1 hour videos here and there, stretch it out to 2 hours, hopefully have a chat, have something to bounce off, go to a 4 hours with mini breaks, man needs to piss, eat, fucking, pull his dick and shit. And then afterwards, start doing the long-term shit. A 12-hour stream, a 24-hour stream. I think a 24-hour stream would be so much fun. You just start with a basic project, you use quick methods, and you go from runners to as close to a finished project as humanly possible, purely using methods as a challenge that's just quick. Instead of using putty to fill seams, it'll be super glue and talcum powder. Using hair dryers and lacquers and airbrushing really fine mists so it's dry to the touch and that sort of thing over slower more conventional methods, quick methods, what wargamers do. Wargamers need to pump out as many Space Marines as possible, especially if you're doing a commission. So you can have an army in a short period of time so you can play it as soon as possible. Unless you're doing competition shit, you want to have as many highlights and interesting detail and shading and lighting and it's beautiful and sexy and shit. No, just a quick army, but at the same time interesting and fun enough that you can look at in a display or a competition, not just a recolored snap kit. Which there is nothing wrong with that. I just want a little more out of my models with the amount of time put in, and surely you could do that sort of stuff quicker than 12 hours. A bit of hand-picked detail, a bit of sculpted stuff, a bit of the more finer sides of the hobby. And I just realised I must sound like such a fucking cocksucker. One of those cunts that sit in a red robe and a fireplace, dimly lit manor room, swirling some brandy, going, "Oh, sir, let's see the time." The monocle, fucking little kid or something. I do not fucking know. So I have finished scrubbing these down. I'm going to rinse them, dry them out. We might start removing nubs today. Remove nubs, sand nubs down, remove flash, test fits, give it an overall scrub down, and when that's done, pinning, putty work, and then rewash before painting. Painting is going to be a quite a bitch. I'm going to have to work something out. I might have or running the tablet at the same time as the computer sort of strains the internet a bit, but if I've got some sort of chat to talk off to, I can look at the chat from the stand that I've 3D printed at my 3D printed station and talk and airbrush, or talk very loudly through my respirator. Airbrush, it's going to be fucking noisy, but then I need to rig a camera over my shoulder. So I could just have my laptop behind my shoulder and I could just turn my head something like every 30 seconds and answer questions, airbrush, turn my head every 30 seconds. That might be a good method. Anyway, this is the third time I'm unprofessionally, by sacred Twitch standards, I will leave the fucking room to rinse the sponge again, get a clean container of water, and we will start drying. Maybe the really, really fine bits I might rewash. I've got no idea. So I will be back in very short period of time. It'll be less than 2 minutes. You can let it run, play, piss, play music, fast forward, whatever the fuck. Okay, we're back. We're in business. Well, check if I haven't got the band, if the stream's going good, if it's still online. Spin, 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 goes the fucking measuring thing. Hello. Hello. Connected. Fucking piece of shit lag. So we've got a tea towel. We've got a lot of toilet paper. And we've got clean flushing water. And it's just a very basic process. I only do this because it just saves a shitload of time. Maybe according to the video, due to the delay, I haven't even come back yet. Maybe there's like more than a 30-second delay, so I'm going to set that down. It's fucking struggling again. It lights up a bit. And here we go. Inception. Fuck me. You're watching the stream of the stream of the stream of the... If it was live, it could have actually done that, couldn't it? Hello, hello, hello. I can hear like the computer motor and shit in the background. It's just maybe the delay is crazy long. This makes for very, very, very exciting viewing, I bet. So while I'm waiting, I might pull a piece out. I'll do one of the pieces that's been soaking for a while. There we go. So the stream works without a fucking hinge. That's awesome. It's something that's very, very nerve-wracking, you can imagine. So, pull the piece out. I'll probably scrub her a second time. Dunker in water. Wipe her down. And I'm hoping that that's more than enough to... Yeah, I'm hoping that that's just way more than enough to remove the release agent. We've talked about release agent so much. I'm guessing you guys are probably an expert on it. So I must admit, when the guy went on the forums and said, look, help, I got resin, I painted it via rattle can, and the paint just started just sliding off it before it even dried. I was just like, yep, release agent. I've just never heard of anyone ever doing that before, and with many new people jumping in the hobby and just jumping into things, it's a new, exciting age of helping people out and having tutorials and communities and stuff rediscovered. A bit of a dunk, a bit of a wipe. Secondary wipe to make it nice and dry with toilet paper, being our whole very, very non-eventful, not exciting process. And we could just leave it there for sanding and other bullshit, but I'm guessing that a second clean is going to be required because I'm just not confident that all the release agent is gone. Again, with our little bleach project here, the primer is not exactly just melting off. So I might hit that with a toothbrush and water when I finish this stream, and then let her soak for a lot longer. And why did I just dip that in water? That was a bit silly. I'm not thinking. Oh wow, I did not know that there's just so much to do and worry and think about and focus on when you're running a stream, especially with resin, which is something that I'm not super competent in. Might have a quick click off. There we go. Quick dry down, contouring around all the bits. Because even with when you're removing the release agent, you're diluting it and hoping it comes out in the solution here. And then you rinse it, so you rinse it in fresh water, and then you dry it off just in case there's ever so the slight remnants of that release agent left. So you got it nice and bone dry. And it feels less smooth. It's got more of a texture after it's been washed, so might be evidence of former release agents. We'll just keep going bit by bit by bit, and we might consider doing story time. So I'm a member of a club called Mecha Workshop. We're a modelling club in Melbourne, Australia. It has been around for more than 10 years, and it attached itself to a convention, an anime convention called Manifest, which was a non-for-profit committee, and it ran out of Melbourne University. I used to get up to 100 attendees, a couple of small sponsors, a few fan subbed anime that came straight out of Japan, all that jazz. A lot of young people. And at the time, when I jumped on to the event, I was an entertainment technician, and I was still in training before I became a professional. And I thought, two birds with one stone, get to a convention for free and get some work experience, build up the resume, whatever. I also like modelling. I was doing a bit of Warhammer and was building my first couple of Gundams, which was heavily customized. Did a lot of modifying, scratch building. It was very unrefined and not very good, but it was a lot of fun, and it's just a really good artistic outlet. My career was first light. There was no consideration of me being any good. I did attend competitions for fun, never really won, but once I got to the adult category, and I just indulged in it. Went to the Model Expo. So I went to this event and volunteered to help with the lighting guy. The guy doing all the AV lighting stuff was just a computer technician, does servers and programming and stuff. Bit in the deep end with lights and audio equipment. Not exactly his forte. So I helped him out as much as I can. He really appreciated it and became part of the family. At the same time, they had a model workshop for a few hours. I stuck my head in and said hello, saw what they're doing. And these people were helping with, registration and other areas of the event, and they did a Zoids modelling workshop. And it was really cool. But I butted heads with the guy running it, and he didn't like me too much, didn't like him too much. But I thought it was cool enough to visit, bought a few parts, a kit, carried on. They remembered each other and were pleasant enough to say hello and whatnot. After a few years, I burnt out. The committee got a bit toxic. It grew. My responsibilities were bigger. I had a vision to move to a bigger event. I didn't want to be a part of it, and resigned after a big incident. And as I resigned, I was a lot more friendly with the Zoids workshop. And they said, Alan, sign up as a volunteer, help us out, and it's just an excuse to sit there and model for hours on end. And I was like, fuck yeah. So I attended the first mini event. So I went to 2 events a year. And I rocked up with a large box, had a toolbox, a few model kits, all that. So one of the guys at the door was like, oh, Alan, you've come back. Good, I thought you quit. Just let me in. Didn't pay or anything. Just walked right through the fucking door. I thought, awesome, I've already got a packed lunch, so I don't have to leave, so I don't have to pay when I go in. Walked into the room nice and early where the model workshop was going to be. They were setting up, so I helped out and just partied with them. Richard asked me to be his assistant. Wasn't too good with corresponding, internet, money keeping, all that sort of stuff. So I said, look, I'll be your assistant, and I'll do all the shit paperwork and whatnot. You can have the glory of the presidency. Didn't bother me whatsoever. Did that for a while, and he burnt out. There's a few incidences with sponsors. The workshop grew, moved to a bigger venue, started meeting more often, and he said, I've had enough. When you quit the club, you're president. Okay? I'm president temporarily until you're ready to take over. That was the agreement. That was about 6, 7 years ago. Actually, no, probably close to 8 years ago. And I'm still president of the club. Richard's still the hand of the king. Um, and we moved to doing monthly meetings. The Anime Congress is so big they needed an office to talk to people, send flyers and IDs out and all sorts of shit. So they hired an office, and we borrowed a proportion of the office to run once a month meetings, charge $5, went straight into the kitty of the event. The events committee grew more toxic by the year. Things got a bit harder. Our area grew larger and larger and larger. Our sponsorship grew. We started having people attend the workshop in the hundreds, which originally was just a scam to get into an anime con for free, turned into a fucking job. Made friends within the community. Then a few years ago, a big incident occurred, and it involved us directly. It's something I'll probably talk about another day. It's not that it's sensitive or anything. I just want to save that story. So an incident occurred. The event closed. There was big accusations made about members of our group, so we split up. Now, I had intentions of moving our workshops outside the manifest office because sometimes they'll just cancel on us last minute or not open the doors or all sorts of garbage. And we moved into a men's shed network. And a lot of people know what the men's shed is. It's an organisation where they hire a large venue. I have a lot of tools and social gear and whatnot, and it gives a chance old people to just play around who retire from industry and prevent getting depression because they got like a project car or they build stuff out of wood or play pool or whatever. So we found a venue like that and took advantage of them because during the weekend, by then the old guys want to have a bit of a rest and the venue wasn't being used. And I requested if we could have just a little space to use for a weekend run our model club. Eventually agreement was struck. They let us and become a part of their culture. Win-win situation. They get funding, they get more numbers, they get more members, we get insurance and a venue. We can meet once a fortnight. And the best thing is this venue is literally 10 minutes away from my house, where the old Manifest office was literally on the other side of town, a 40-minute travel. It grew. We get about 10 to 20 people attending a week, and it's all lots and lots of fun. Really enjoy it. So we know what the Mecha Workshop is now, because I told the story a lot longer than I intended. We were running an event, and we got direct sponsorship with the wholesaler and official supplier of Bandai products in Australia, Hobbyco. They sponsor us. They give us the caravan program, which we literally get many hundreds of very basic, no-grade, first-grade Gundam kits to give to people to build over a period of time and get into the hobby and stuff, and other people to buy kits, sit there, build, and they can try airbrushing or get tips from whatnot. And I've got all sorts of volunteers and assistants. Mark Carlisle, who won Australia like 3 times, Ghost of Xeon, who's won a few times and is famous for the rears, and a lot more other smaller level celebrities. So you get a chance to meet them, actually get tutorage and lessons from them directly, all that sort of thing. It's grown into a large area where it's literally, 20 by 20 meters on the main floor, retail floor of a big con called Animanga. And Animanga is sort of like the spiritual successor of Manifest. I happen to be friends with the owner of it, and he said, you're really passionate about your thing, you do a good job, we'll give you space, you do what you need to do, you make, an attraction for our event. So I did that, and literally I'm sending, fridges and airbrush booths and all sorts of things, and we just had the biggest, awesome setup. It was fantastic, a lot of fun. We had airbrushes going constantly, 5 of them. I brought the mini 3D printer, big competition. I brought the ship shelves. We had about 30 models on display, sold some second-hand garbage that's in the kit club's backlog that they want to get rid of, that happens to be vintage old stuff that no one sold for years. And just met tons of people and just overly had a good time. But the thing was, this event was 1 week after the Australian Gunpla Builders World Cup. So, a lot of people were burnt out and tired. So we just aimed it to be like a fun layback thing. What happened at the Australian Gunpla Builders World Cup, I drank too much, I partied too much. There were some good stories based off my memory. our hostel, 'cause we stayed, a lot of us from Melbourne. We migrated up to Sydney. We stayed in this cheap hostel, and we booked every bed in the dorm, so the whole dorm was ours. The floor that our dorm was on got raided by the police over a very serious incident. And being hungover and sick and whatnot, that was just ball tripping. That was weird. Cops running around. Um, we were like, need to get to the con, and we also needed to get out for check out and other things, and not feeling well, and just everything was just going down at the same time, and it was an unreal fun event. Kawaguchi was there, had access to talk and hang out with him, and that was completely unreal, and him, remembering me and just hanging out and stuff. Like, Scott and I call him friend, and he just loves our community, so that's just absolutely mind blowing. And there's all sorts of fun videos and whatnot. I filmed 2 of his tutorials, and my laptop, I'm running a very old, almost 10-year-old laptop with Windows XP on it, do all my video editing and whatnot. I haven't changed because I don't want to change. I don't like any of the other operating systems. Has died, and I bought parts, and I'm literally rebuilding it. So I'm out of my laptop. I can't edit videos. I can't upload videos. I'm using my secondary laptop that's used for 3D printing, and I also plan on using for streaming, and it just permanently lives in the studio. So I want to get that computer fixed, upload all those videos, and so everyone can know what. Obviously, other people have posted and put videos and pictures of the Gunpla Builders World Cup Australia. Everyone knows what happened. All I'm doing is just putting up my content and my spin on it. All in all, fun was had by all. It was just a really, really great experience. Really, really great gig. Had a lot of fun. And after talking to Hobbyco and other people and Scott, there is some huge, huge plans. And even though there's no one watching now, and the viewers are going to be very, very small, I'm not going to release anything, as it's not really my place to do so. But there are some big plans for modelling and gunpla in Australia. It is going to be absolutely chaotic and crazy. A lot of good fun, a lot of interesting things. Although on my end of the bargain, I'm going to be doing some pretty cool things as well. And one of those things is experimenting with streaming. And as we all know, this is what I'm doing right now. And surprisingly, I'm still holding my own. I think this is probably a little longer than an hour. But pretty pleased with the results. All I need to do is just get people to start watching it and get feedback from that and evolve from there. But streaming can be a very, very cutthroat, vicious circle of building an audience. And fuck, if I can do it on YouTube, if you make it on YouTube, you can make it anywhere. It's not how good or anything or whatnot. Or you have to be good. Boring content will get you nowhere. But you just need to be persistent at it. You just need to keep working and working and working it. And since that there is up to hours a week that I do sit on ass and work on kits, why the fuck can't it be on camera? And I just watching Kawaguchi do his live demonstration, and he did an amazing modification on Izaku, and he virtually did a whole, cut out a bit of styrene plate, cut a hole, stuck it on, welded it on, and fitted a piece over it in less than 10 minutes while casually talking and just showing off tools and whatnot, as if he's just doing that every night and sitting there. Real professional, really quick, and everyone was just sat there with their mouths open. My dickhead mate, Pat, which someone released a photo of, was like dead asleep, poor bastard. We probably, partied a little too long, too loudly. The room smelt for reasons, which is mostly, definitely, 100% my fault. But just completely, absolutely unreal. Really, 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 really good fun. Really, really outgoing. So, literally, as you can see here, I've just re-scrubbed, flushed, and dried 5 pieces. 5 big pieces. And you can see that at this kit for 2 hours, very little progress has been done. It is a bit time consuming. But once the nubs and the cleanup starts occurring, it gets a lot interesting. Resin is a carcinogenic material. When you pour it and you got the gases and fumes, it's dangerous. You wear a respirator, and when you sand it in dust form, it's terrible for your lungs. It fucks up your bronchi, which is the connection hoses to your lungs, fucks and shreds your lungs. And over time, too much exposure, you're gonna, have trouble breathing. It's gonna fill your lungs with shit. It's gonna end up getting infected and you get lung cancer and other terrible conditions. So there is precautions you need to take when you're sanding resin and other resin-like products. Polyester putty, which is used with resin modeling and sticks to resin beautifully well, is virtually a resin product. Any sort of putties and bulbs you use on your car is a type of one part resin. All of these products you need to treat the same as solid resin and wear a mask and shit. Or wet sand it. Now, I was with Japanese Sandman during my Japan trip, and oh man, I could talk on length about my 3 Japan trips on these streams. That's going to be absolutely excellent. When I was on my Japan trip, we went to Joint Festival, which I took photos and did a video. It's on my YouTube channel. And they had a workshop area, and as someone who runs workshops, I was just really fascinated. I was like, fuck, I got to see how they do it in Japan, and if there's people and fucking network and whatnot. And they're all making, resin Gundams and figures and whatnot. But they were dry sanding resin in public, in the mass. You're within 20, 30 meters, and you can smell. You could smell this just heavy blanket of just resin. No one's wearing masks or anything, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? I know they got no warning signs or anything in Asia, and they take occupational health and safety a bit differently, but it just blew my mind. As you know, I'm at home, and my mother is an ex-professional doll artist, and she makes porcelain dolls from scratch and cast and clean them. And she's a network of many, many older artists that when I talk to her in ceramics and whatnot, they'll sit there and dry sand, porcelain, and all sorts of shit. And they've all died of emphysema and other lung-related diseases of just, being at it for 10, 20 years of sanding shit full time. Part-time hobby when you're doing it for like up to 10 hours every weekend, or like 1 or 2 hours every day. And if you're a heavy resin modeler, you will get sick very quickly. If you don't do it as often, you'll get sick in a slower manner. It will affect your health regardless if you're planning on living to a nice long age. There's just a few very, very, very easy precautions to take, and it just, utilizes your health. You'd be one of these guys that eat fatty, dry fast, smoke and whatnot. But there's no evidence that what those sort of things do will be the same as if you smoked or breathed in resin. So I'd love to see a study, if someone did a study of, resin modelers wearing a mask or wet sanding or not, and health complications. But they do have studies of people that do, work in car body shops and whatnot, and when they don't wear masks and whatnot, and the health conditions they get. There is studies out there like that, but that's a bit bland, dry, boring. You don't want to be doing that when you're doing research for your hobby. Sometimes best, like, there's a lot of things I talk about and teach and show off and whatnot, my tutorials and stuff, and say it's subjective. You can do it this way or you cannot do it this way, your choice. I'm not too particularly bothered. But when it comes to your health and stuff, out of all seriousness, I think it's something that should be taken quite seriously, not with a grain of salt. Stand up, listen, look, and go, yeah, I think it's best that something is done. And I'm really glad to have changed quite a few people's thinking, as well as other responsible resin modelers. And I think one of the best opportunities of working with the E2046 and doing their tutorials, and maybe becoming their official tutorial writing guy, is I could start introducing resin health to a much broader audience, as well as building a big audience, which is really cool and feeds on my massive fucking ego. But just help people out health-wise. Live longer, get more people into resin, and at least get them practicing safe resin modeling immediately. These pieces are thick and heavy. Really, really, really enjoy this kit. I might take another break shortly, so I could end the stream at some point for another half hour, 1 hour, and then stream again for another hour. Not too sure. But this second attempt, I think I've learnt a lot. I think there's an improvement. I need to stop talking about my own feedback, so I sound like an asshole. But I might try one more time, and then I might just model at my own pace and just relax. And I think every time I do like a big modeling day and stream for a few hours and just stretch it out further and further and further and upgrade more and more equipment, something can be done, because streaming and talking, just doing it hours on an end is actually kind of taxing. And I do feel myself getting a bit, not tired, but, exerted, spending energy, shit like that. That, and members of my family are going to be coming home soon, and I want to say hello, and how's your day, and all that sort of shit. Deal with some other matters of importance, of being personal. And then once people are home and settling down and resting, and they made a sandwich and whatever, and dinner's being talked about and all that sort of stuff, I might turn down the crassness, just so how can I put it? Sometimes there's just people in the household you don't want them hearing you talk about cock. I think that's the best way to put it. Like, they know I'm a dickhead and I talk all sorts of shit, but it's sometimes good that they don't need to hear it firsthand. And also, being considerate of the people you live with and all that sort of stuff, the housemates and all that. But, I don't know. Run off for another 10 minutes. How does that sound? Fuck if I know. So, I just need to be more quicker on points of conversation regarding the hobby and modelling and whatnot. I don't quite remember what I've said in this feed or not. I'm looking at this kit, I'm thinking, I'm planning, I want to know what I want to do. The pose will be generally the same. Most of it fits together. I'm very excited to start doing test fits so I can start drilling and pinning for smaller bits. But I'm thinking mostly black, leather straps, brown leather straps. I'm going to make my own decals to have, because I'm modelling this after the appearance of the LARP group I'm a part of. There's a lot of black, a bit of yellow. Love the colour yellow anyway. And there's going to be a symbol of 3 coins across the chest. And just remove it from the world of this anime. Just really make it my own. And this video will have, when I'm editing it, putting it together and turning it to a tutorial video and a review video, I want to make it as soon as possible to present it to E2046. They like it, I'll send me more models, I build more models, but I've probably got about half a dozen E2046 models in my backlog. So I'm going to build that. And after I finish this one, I've actually got a Volks Resin Girls and Tons of Volks figure that I started, but then stopped and abandoned because I'm working on this project. And as soon as this project is done, I'm picking that Volks figure up again and I'm just running with it and finishing it and doing the YouTube video. Probably stream me working on it too. It's a very, very simplistic figure. It'll be a very, very quick build. And I've got a couple of those Volks figures, so I might, I think I might go, E2046 original, E2046 original, and just mix it up a bit and get a few videos out there like that, as well as finished models, and just promote the wonderful world of resins. The more people get into resin, the more resin models are made, the cheaper it gets, the better the business goes, the more opportunities, so what, so forth, and so forth. I'm guessing this time slot isn't too great because we haven't even gotten a single visitor or interest or peep from Twitch. Being an Australian, it's a Thursday. I got Thursday, Friday off. I'm working the rest of the week. I'll probably get more of a response at night, so I might have a bit of a rest and might do a night stream. See if we pick up a few people. Because when I tried to stream last night around midnight, I got like people jumping on and off and whatnot, but I couldn't stay any more for 30 seconds because my laptop would thermo out and just shut down due to overheating and just way too much taxing of the processor. That, and I haven't changed any of the settings on OBS. I'm using OBS because other shits pay. Everybody uses it. It just makes sense to just do what everybody else does, you know. Sometimes you need to be a leader. Sometimes you need to be a follower and not reinvent the fucking wheel. But I'm not sure if any of that makes sense to you guys. I suppose it works. You're all gamers and you're all familiar with some of this shit. And if you've got a Twitch account, you probably do a bit of streaming yourself, and you're now doing a bit of watching or whatnot. I've got no fucking idea what I'm talking about. That's okay. Fuck, definitely does dry out your throat. Talking almost constantly. I wonder if this is what like radio presenters are like. But at the same time, listening to the radio, they sort of cut out to an ad every 10-15 minutes and talk back, and that would be about 2 to 5 minutes, and then they sometimes do a long one. They can dash off to the toilet, drop the kids at the pool, all that sort of thing, little waterworks. But no control of that sort of stuff here. It's literally just constant talking. And I suppose once there's a chat and shit, I could sort of shut up for short periods of time and talk and shut up, and because it's going to be recorded videos and put onto YouTube. Needs to be interesting, cunts. Entertain the masses. They will stick around. They will follow you, they say. It's what Twitch tutorials say. That's how you build a fucking audience, says Twitch tutorials. You need to keep talking, be exciting, be good at the game, or funny. And it's easier to be good at the fucking game. I'm not playing a fucking game. I'm on Twitch Creative. I'm making shit. Though the Twitch Creative tutorial did say, hey, it's cool if you're not a gamer and you only do make stuff. We'll support that. Of course you can't, well, because you're going to put ads on it to make some money. Me, I'm a sad fat cunt that's sitting here talking to myself, playing with a waifu weeb figure. I could be any more happier. So that's that, and definitely getting rambly as fuck. Though I think the cleaning up job on this is going pretty well because it is taking me fucking hours. I'm really interested to see where all the test fitting goes and snap it together and take some photos and whatnot and sort this shit out. All in all, because I know there's no current audience, there's going to be a viewer audience from YouTube. Hope it's interesting. If you've watched this far, please give me feedback. I don't give a shit about like subs or anything like that. Give me feedback. Is it working out? Is the first attempt okay? Is it awkward? Is it fucking garbage? Is it okay? Is it trollish? Is it sexy? Would you rub one out to this video? Jesus Christ, I would. I would definitely rub one out to this video. But the camera setup, I know is wrong. That's going to be fixed up like ASAP. I would like that done within a week or more. Quality and that sort of shit will not be improved for a while. Audio will come with the camera as well, obviously. I think I'll drop a little more than $100 on a decent Logitech camera. I'm just using whatever's in this. This is a really garbage HP laptop. First time I decided to go to Japan, I thought I need a laptop so I can contact my family, check maps, Google Maps, check other things online, whatnot. Use Wi-Fi. I went to an Office Works after looking at some sales and shit, and literally bought this piece of crap during the very start of Windows 7 days for like under $200, and it's still going strong. Didn't touch it. Brought it to my second Japan trip. Brought it to my third Japan trip, and it's also my 3D printing laptop. So that's all the uses this laptop ever gets, and sometimes some Google Chat and other streaming experiments and whatnot. So it's not very taxing on software and whatnot, except for just knowing that it does have heating issues, does have hardware issues. It is on the weak side even for its generation, and now it's old as garbage. All of my computer shit will be upgraded fairly shortly. I'm buying a house at the moment, so that is taking up all my resources. Once that's all set up and whatnot, the next goal will be upgrading computers. I'm a laptop man. It's portable, it's easy, it suits my lifestyle. I'll be buying 2 laptops, Toshiba satellites. Uh, One will be the 3D printing streaming laptop, be a bit weaker, and the main rig for everything else, including, the good shit. A little bit of the spank wire, a little bit of the U-porn, a little bit of the rubbing one out. A nice, good fat rig. And it's going to be, the full specs, but not for video games, because you can't be fucked. Much rather model. Not to be insultive to people who play video games, fuck you cunts anyway. Fuck man, I'm quite the weirdo that does enjoy his own time. Hey. uh, I seriously wish those people in the chat to bounce off. I love answering questions. Q&As, man. It'd be Q&As every time. When I do those once a month Q&As on YouTube, tons of fun. I'm interested in what questions come in, answer them, have backwards and forwards with people. Being interactive is all right. And I think that's probably the most exciting and interesting thing about Twitch and streaming is that interaction, but just absolutely live. It's just something that I just need to do. I just think it just definitely works in my style of things to do, and that those Gundam guys blog, they do it pretty well too, and I sometimes tune in, listen to them and whatnot. But teaming up with other people and trying to teaming up with other people and trying to stream at the same time and whatnot, and do podcasts, especially when they're overseas in other countries and whatnot. It's very, very difficult to line up, especially if you have an unorthodox lifestyle of a 9 to 5 job thing. And when people in England are their afternoon, it's my early morning, and it's midday in the US and whatnot. It's catching up with people is a pain in the ass. So doing it alone has its challenges. I will sort that out. And if other people on Twitch can do it, Jesus fucking Christ, I'll give it a red hot go. I think I will end it at that. Thank you very much for listening to my second stream. I'll put this all over the place. I'll try again today. I'll try to use it to market this stream. Tell your friends. Share it on Facebook and stuff. I mean, people on Twitch, it's all about the money, the donation button, the Patreon, all that fucking garbage. I think just getting the name out there. If there's anything that you guys want to do to see if this thing gets far and exciting and shit, and there's a way of helping out, only if you're inclined to help out. I'm not going to be asking for handouts or money or anything. Share it on Facebook and Twitter. It's just the number one thing that can definitely help me out is if you post this URL to this finished video to your Facebook, chuck it out on your Twitter. If we can get 10 people to do that and their friends find it and they follow me on Twitch, and every time I'm on Twitch there's a few people live online, they can jump on. If I can get like 2 to 4 people and they just throw some shit in the chat, I think that's going to make shit easier. Once you get your first couple of people, then it's probably all downhill from there, I guess. But from that, gonna have to work hard. Work hard. I'm talking about just sitting here fucking cleaning resin. I'm gonna just keep hammering it and make this thing work, because I think a lot of exciting things can come of streaming scale modeling and going as far as airbrushing, hand painting, decals application, cleaning resin, people sitting there watching it live, archiving the videos. It's just more content, leaving more out there. What time is it? Shit, it's only 6 o'clock. I think I might have been at this for either an hour and a half to 2 hours, so yeah, I think I've kind of done okay. Maybe I'm thinking some people just stream for many, 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 many hours on end as like a job, where they sit down and go, this is my 8 hours of streaming, and then I stop and I can carry on with life. I think I might be a bit more of a, what's the term? A shit cunt. That's not the term I was looking for, but it's good enough. Just an hour to 2 hours here, turn it off, come back on, hour to 2 hours, turn it off, turn it on, hours to 2 hours, turn it off, turn it on, and that way I don't burn myself out as easily until I can build up my stamina and can finally do more long-term streams. Anyway, thank you very much. If you've watched it this far, I hope it was definitely entertaining. I did ask for feedback, so you know to do that. Definitely follow the Twitch account or whatever, so we can start this up. You guys are the first in. You're the pioneers of the Mokana Man live, PHD Manchild live, Alan live, all that shit. Thank you very much. It will be remembered of the stuff that you do. I will lift the screen up and show my fucking pretty beautiful face. Thank you, cunts. Streaming stop now. Peace. Fuck out. The laptop fell on its stilts. This is how dodgy the thing is. All the money in the world for the model kits, the tools, and the airbrushes, skimp out on the hardware. That's the way we roll.